Won't you please come join me for some midnight therapy? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Midnight Therapy. I am your host, the one and only Cat Matthews. It is a glorious Saturday morning. Had my coffee, lazy, slow Saturday, thank God. I had a rough week, long week, ready to relax. Had a nice night last night for the most part. Wrote the script. Looked over all the stuff that happened this week, as I always do. We do it weekly here on Midnight Therapy, so a lot happens from the last episode to this episode. So you're like, if you're like me, you're like, wow, what should I include? So much. And each podcaster or influencer or voice or mouthpiece or whatever you want to call me has to decide what they wish to talk about and how deeply they would like to go into that topic. I usually do a 40-minute or so episode. Can't really deep dive anything too much if we want to cover a vast array of topics. So I'm sort of your starter pack or the dipping of the toe of a topic. If you wish to look into it more, you could, and I encourage you to. Again, I am not a licensed therapist or a journalist. However, I do feel that I lead the viewer in the right direction if they wish to research things more. That's all this show will probably be, unless we get a ginormous, generous donation of funding and I'm able to put more time into this show. Then maybe we could do an 8-part series on one thing. But until then, probably not, Probably not. But I was sitting there this morning thinking about this Marcus Aurelius quote, as one does. And it was something along the lines of, why get out of bed in the morning? It's so comfortable in bed, and I don't want to leave this bed. And to save you the time and the boredom, he concludes that was sitting in bed all day what he was meant to do on this earth. And he was like, no, obviously not. So it's like you're meant to do more. If you feel that you're meant to do more in life, that's why we do things. Like, why do I do this show every week? Why do I put this hat on and these sunglasses and set everything up? Why? To rant to the wind in a basement, not making any money off this, putting a lot of time into it, trying my best to put out a good show, good product. But why? And I think there's really no answer other than you just know you have to. I think that's anything. Anybody with a talent or a dream or a passion, you just know you have to. But I think this theme of what is this and what are we doing here and why do anything happens to all of us. And I think most people, like a lot of people, don't really have that. A lot of people absorb content and absorb things. They're consumers. They don't really make anything, though, or do anything. And it's easier to be those people because there's no waste of time, no risk of failure, and you just consume and enjoy life, ignorance is bliss. If you don't know what's going on or you don't do anything, you're kind of like an NPC. Life is a lot easier. To be the man in the arena is hard because obviously you're the act that people judge and watch or don't watch. And I still think it's always better to be the man in the arena. I really do. It's so much better than being ignorant on purpose. That's all I'm saying. So I think the general gist of this rant is those of you that are naturally curious and, critical thinkers and you enjoy the show, thank you. I mean, because we're trying here, right? I mean, it's so easy to support a podcast with 10 million subscribers. It's hard to tell people about my show that has 90 some. I get that. But nothing, you can't start a fire without a spark. You know what I'm saying? So, those of you that watch and the new subscribers, thank you. I just want to say thank you. You are probably in the arena as well, I assume, in some way, shape, or form, doing something, thinking about something in a way that's different than the way they tell you to think. So, thank you for that. Um, Remember this: if you get to heaven, say you're in heaven or you're in purgatory, for an example, tomorrow, and there's an angel there, it's like, hey, did you have fun on earth? You don't want to be like, no. You don't want to be like, well, I didn't really do anything. You want to be like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you. I did this, I did that. I had a wife, I had kids. I went here, I went there. I started a business. I played music. I used to ride a bike. Like, you want to have that stuff. You don't want to be like, oh, I got last night I got a chalupa from Taco Bell on DoorDash, and I watched a Netflix show that I didn't really care about. I wasn't really into it, but I needed a background noise while I ate my chalupa. You don't want that to be it. Keep that in mind. Now, again, I'm a no one. That's the whole reason my little rant there. I'm a nobody in the grand scheme of things. I admit, all I know is I know nothing. Socrates quote. But I am trying, like a lot of other people are, to figure out what's going on in this life, in the time that I was born. Now, I will say you have to be 5 steps ahead just to catch up. You have to look a little deeper than what they provide to you on the surface. You have to notice things. And what I noticed is there is a goal to keep everyone divided. Now, that common theme, you've probably heard that before, but the big one, how they do that, the big revelation I just had, the best way to divide people is to keep the people entertained. Now, that word entertain, look up what that word actually means. Now, give them bread and circuses. We've talked about that many times before. It was a Roman saying, if you keep the people fed and entertained, they'll never revolt. That's still going on. It just, was adapted to the modern day world. The whole revelation of the method thing I talked about a couple episodes ago, they blatantly tell you what they're doing. When you watch a TV show, right? Television through a channel, through channels, and you're watching your programming. That's what they call this stuff. It's all there. They're telling you blatantly what they're doing. We just don't care. We turn the other cheek because we're entertained. Our mind is occupied. So let's deep dive into a very specific topic. Donald Trump. Why was he so popular? For good or bad reasons. You know why? Because he was entertaining. This is the greatest way to divide people, is through entertainment. Reason being, if you try to divide people through force, people usually catch on. You try to divide people through politics, they catch on. You try to divide people through government, they catch on. But when you're watching a show or something, or you're on your phone and it's entertainment, your guard is kind of down. You're kind of got home from a long day. You took your shoes off. You sat on the lazy boy. Now you're ready to relax. And you don't want to watch all that propaganda. So you watch entertainment that's harmless, but it really isn't. Subliminally, it's doing something to your subconscious. And it always has been. And Donald Trump brought the entertainment world into politics, making him the greatest showman. And I truly believe this. Politics before him was rather boring, and it was like too complex for most people to understand. It was too evil, also. Like, it was so evil what really was going on that most people didn't even look into it. And you always knew that, like, a politician was, like a suit. He wasn't really a social person, wasn't the funnest to have around at a party, let's say. That was kind of how it was. Most people didn't care. Young people definitely didn't care. But now it's like simplified. They figured out you just simplify these things like you would do for an entertainment, an entertainment industry. You make it like like a children's show, make it funny, make it violent, make it one-upping each other, make it insults, make it, the trick. So Trump brought it to a whole new level, and I believe that's all calculated, to be honest. So I don't think Trump's an idiot, and I never did. I always knew he could walk the walk and talk the talk. Like I knew he could be the person he is today. I always knew it was there even before he was president, even though he was an entertainer. I think that's the way we're going to go now. I think it is going to be just entertainers because I think politics means nothing anymore. I think you could go up there and say whatever you want, and as long as you are entertaining your base, they will vote for you and keep supporting you indefinitely till the end. And I think Trump set that precedent. I think it was like that before, but it wasn't like it is now. Trump created a whole new tier of, let's say, the entertainment industry. And he, he's very much showing you his method. He's revealing his method. He has the hats, the branding, the slogans, the signature suit, the signature hair. He's very much aware of all his moves he does and how he calculates them. And even to this day, as he gets older, he's still good at it. Like the Tylenol, uh, the Tylenol kerfuffle, if you will, with the autism conference. How he did that, like, they had a discussion. They're like, I don't think you should go out first. Like, let the doctors talk. He goes, no, I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to say it off cuff. I'm not reading a prompt. I'm just going to make it up out of my ass, and they're going to love it. And they're like, I don't think that's a good idea. And he goes, and someone goes, don't question him. He knows what he's doing. So he goes out there. He doesn't say Tylenol right. He goes, acetaminophen, Tylenol. And you think, well, look, he's an idiot. It's all part of a plan that you and I don't understand. He did this forever. Saying offensive or shocking sound bites to get people talking is the motivation. Him doing that conference is the motivation. You know what I'm saying? To have RFK go out there, he's a controversial figure too. He's a great tool in the toolbox. Half the people hate him, some of the people love him. Doesn't matter. See, the thing people don't get about entertainment is if people hate you, that's also good entertainment. People love watching villains. That's part of the entertainment. You watch these murder shows or whatever, like CSI or true crime or whatever. You're watching these monsters that like killed people or did atrocious things to people, and you are watching it because it's entertaining. So even if you hate Trump, you're going to watch, and that's the goal, to get people to watch. They want half people to hate him and half people to love him, and that's what they got. You think that's not the goal? It's 100% what they want. And Trump's been doing this for a long time. It gets you talking. Build the wall. That was the first one. Calling the fake news. That was this all where it started. Don't forget him hanging the auto pen signature the other day of Joe Biden. When he hung all the president's portraits up, he put one of Joe Biden that was the auto pen. That's to get people talking. It's the same on the other side too. Like the right will watch The View, even though they hate The View, just to get mad. People like getting mad. People like feeling emotions, whether it's anger, sadness. That's why people listen to Adele. They want to feel sad. People watch The View that are conservative to get angry, and they like that. You watch a horror movie to feel scared. It's all entertainment. Just remember that. Trump, though, did take things to like this WWE type style, like almost funny. Like it is funny if you watch. Like if you're watching, it's a little funny if you can read through the lines where it's like, we're having an autism conference to get to the bottom of autism. And it's Tylenol. Stop taking Tylenol. All right, next, RFK. And then he comes up. You could barely hear the guy. I hate to be rude. He's trying to say stuff. He's not the best speaker. Let's just be honest. And then they're like, all right, don't worry. We have another one. Dr. Oz from the TV show. Come up. Like, it does seem like a parody in some regards, I will say. That could have been, I don't know, that could have been one doctor coming out saying, we are going to conduct this study because we believe that Tylenol may be causing autism in children. That's the end of the conference. All this stuff, like, it's just there to be, it's the show. Welcome to the show. That's like this show. They're planning it too, but on a way different level. And now, like, what do? You get people that go insane. You get the people that believe it, and they're like, I'm never taking Tylenol again. Then you have these insane pregnant women on TikTok taking like 5 Tylenol while pregnant to protest Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Trump derangement syndrome is real, and that's part of the plan as well. Where it's like anything the guy says, they'll do the opposite. Like, Trump could say, you should not eat Tide Pods. They're bad for you, and they'll kill you. And then the left will go on TikTok and eat Tide Pods. I wish I was kidding, but all this stuff, the revelation of the method, like, Trump is telling you who he is. And I hate to say it's because, Trump is most likely compromised. He's not going to stop doing these stunts like the gold H-1B Visa card, $100,000, the ballroom, fancy ballroom with gold filigree everywhere. We understand, what that is. But let's get into this at the Kirk Memorial, which is so odd in and of itself. I have to say that. Again, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I'll never stop saying that. But wow, was that weird? People were saying it was not weird. And it was like beautiful. I'm like, this is a memorial service in a football arena, like a stadium. And people are in stadium seats. And there's probably a hot dog stand out there. There's probably a hot dog stand. You could probably get beer. And this is a memorial. And there's all these like members of the administration and the cabinet speaking. And they're coming out to sparklers and pyrotechnics and big banners and big screens like a rally. Very odd. It was something about it was distasteful to me. Some of the moments were beautiful. I will say, fake or not, the Erica Kirk speech was arguably one of the best Christian moments I've seen in my life, or maybe any life, to say that she forgave that killer was pretty emotional, I will say. If it's fake, good entertainment. But either way, a movie could get you emotional. That could get you emotional too. But that message of her husband, Charlie, tried to save young men like the man that killed him hits pretty deep. And then her comparing it to, juxtaposing it to Jesus Christ, young man that was killed for speaking his beliefs, parallels to Charlie Kirk, who was killed for speaking his beliefs, so we think. And then her going on that big mega stage in front of millions of people on TV at home and saying, I forgive him. Nice message. Nice Christian message. Inspiring. Loved that part. Then, I don't know why they scheduled Trump to be last. No, that was Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, should have probably closed. Trump goes out there and he said some nice things that were written on a teleprompter for him. But when he was off the cuff and honest, the only time he's ever honest is when he's off the cuff. He blatantly said, he was like, yeah, Charlie forgave his enemies. I hate my enemies. And then everybody clapped. I don't wish the best for my enemies, he said, or opponents, whatever, same thing. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. That's honestly true, just so you know. He said, if you look back, watch the tape, he said Charlie's God or Charlie's beliefs. It didn't really say our beliefs in the one section, so it makes me believe maybe Trump isn't so much aligned with Christians. You be the judge of that. But you don't just say things unless you mean them, especially on a stage like that, at an event like that. So keep that in mind. The whole thing seemed a little off. I mean, people are pointing out Erica Kirk acting a little odd. like a little unaffected. I'm not going to judge anybody dealing with grief, but I don't know. Something about that memorial field off to me. I don't know what it was. And then the next day, of course, all these theories start coming out about the actual assassination and if that was odd or not. Before I move on from the memorial, let me keep in mind that at one point, Trump, while consoling the grieving Erica Kirk, stopped a little and did a little dance and sang the words to the song. And he like told her, he's like, sing along, they'll love this. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's very odd. Everything is odd. Anyways, people are now talking about the assassination. And I don't know if the internet just went nuts. I don't know what to believe anymore. I say this all the time. So many conspiracy theories. This guy had a palm gun, or there was a hatch, or this guy did this gesture behind him and he pulled the cord and it was the microphone that blew up and the detonator was in that guy's hand. Did you ever see the movie Snake Eyes? 1998. The guy's name was Charles Kirkland. He got shot in the neck too. I don't know what to believe anymore. People are saying it's Israel. Big people too. You got Candace Owens now going on the whole. I don't know what to believe in Candace Owens, but I'm going to tell you, I don't believe it. I don't believe her. Fishy. Not to be, I don't know. I don't really trust it. Same with Tucker. Don't really trust it. You got Candace coming out, singing a new tune, talking about Israel, and a couple weeks ago it was about the French president's wife being a man. I mean, I don't know what to believe. Tucker's doing a documentary, a 4-part series on 9/11 and how it's related to Israel. Nick Fuentes brought him up. He was on PBD the other day, podcast. Crazy. What's going on? They waited no time. Like right after that memorial, PBD and those guys were there. That probably at the memorial when they went out to go buy a hot dog, they said, "Hey, can we get Nick Fuentes on for like Monday or the next day?" Is that not crazy? Everybody is like a vulture in a way, because the show must go on. And I'm not judging these people, smart businessmen and women. It's just this is a show, and everybody wants to get the most out of their show, their little section of the big show, the theater. I, however, believe there's a lot of planned opposition out there, puppets. Everybody is mostly compromised. I think if you're not compromised yet, you will be if you get influential enough, and if not, you will, bite the dust, as they say, somehow, some way. Trump originally was on the outside. Now he's fully an insider. When he was a candidate, he was a outsider candidate, but now he's fully part of the machine. I think that's clear. He's now in. The message sort of lost its luster. I don't know anything that's been about the middle class lately. Making America great again. I don't know any of that. I mean, I don't know if people still believe that. Does anyone still believe that? Putting up these big ballrooms and continuously funding these wars he said he was going to stop. I don't know. He did some stuff with the border. I'll give him that, but I don't know. Now, again, still better than the alternative. Remember, it's the same puppet master. He has the red puppet on this hand, the blue puppet on that hand. And we decide to look at one or the other. I mean, it's the same machine. It's just the optics of Kamala Harris winning would be far worse than where we are now. It's hard to believe for somebody, trust me. If we're going to play along with the theatrics of this, it's still better that he won against her for many reasons. Doesn't mean he's doing a stellar job. Doesn't mean that you have to go to whataboutism and say, oh, but what about? Just look at one thing or the other, Just look at one thing or the other. Is he doing a great job? No, but still. Come on. This is quite the circus. I'm going to say that. It's a show, it's theater, it's to divide you, it's to create tribalism. I'm not buying it anymore. I'm just telling you that. I'm not buying it anymore. This is all just a distraction. How much longer can this go on? You know, maybe we have another election in us, maybe until AI takes over, but I don't really know. Like I said, entertainment is the playbook. Trump was the most entertaining politician there's ever been. So the only thing they could do is pull a real entertainer out, like The Rock or Taylor Swift or something, and that might beat Trump, like I said. But I don't know where it's going to go. You know, I do believe this is how life kind of works. I do believe like conservative based values, not political, but conservative values. Like I want to protect my home and have a family and mind my own business and be left alone and less government. I think that is the default. And the leftist progressive movement is forced because I don't think a lot of those talking points would occur naturally. I really don't. I think they have to be forced and pushed by the media or entertainers when your guard is down. Like I said, I don't think we would naturally land at the talking points they talk about if it wasn't forcefully pushed. And you never see the right wing stuff being forcefully pushed because that kind of just occurs. You don't have to trick those people in anything. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's always the other side that has to forcefully push these things. And we're like, oh, that's odd. But young people are susceptible and impressionable and they believe it. Speaking of that, Kimmel's back. How weird was that? Little prediction last week that it might have been a scam, might have been like a Cracker Barrel, and it was. He went away, came back, cried, didn't really apologize though, but sort of apologized. This is one of the first times the left was forced to apologize on TV, which is interesting. But see, it's all just a show. Gets you talking for a few days. Jimmy Kimmel got fired, free speech. You know, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they passed a bill on Epstein files. Like they're always doing stuff in the background. It's just what act they choose to entertain you with while they do the secret stuff in the background. And that's kind of what's happening. Now, you add AI to the mix and not knowing what's real or fake even more, then I see we're going to get lost. It's going to get lost in the translation. By the next election, a car could be about $100,000 on average. They're already like 60 now. A house will be $1 million. Who knows how much groceries will cost? But either way, we will still be clinging to these tribes. And nothing will get better. Nothing's going to get better, in my opinion, financially or economically and or socially, or even, when it comes to unity. I don't know if anyone's going to unify because they don't want us to unify. I say that all the time. But the next election will go on. Everything will be worse. And they'll still tell you, you'll still have somebody in some way, shape, or form. It'll be like a MAGA type person saying, we're going to make America great again. And people will clap. They will clap, even though things have gotten worse. And then on the other side, even though they failed time and time again, and they don't even have a mission statement of their party or the ideology anymore, they don't even know what they stand for. You're still going to see someone up there, probably like a Taylor Swift, go up there and say, I'm going to give everyone that needs it a free house. And everyone's going to go, yes. And they're going to vote. And then they're going to play one of her songs and dance. And that's where we are. It's either you're an NPC or you're so far down the rabbit hole that you think Charlie Kirk was killed by a James Bond-like assassin in the front row through a trap door. You see what I'm saying? That there needs to be a middle. You need to start giving people a reason to get up out of that bed in the morning that isn't a chalupa from Taco Bell that some random person delivers to your house. There needs to be another reason. You got to go find that reason. And if you go looking, you're going to see things you don't like. I hate to say it. Left and right, whatever side you're on, it's all fake. No such thing as Democrat or Republican, just so you know. Just so you know. There's always going to be something else. I realize this with this podcast, with talking points. There's always going to be something else to talk about. It's never going to end. The show never ends. It's just the next act. Don't lose sight of what's really important. That's all I want to say. So there's no Democrat, there's no Republican, but the ideologies that they encompass or pretend to, those are real. The ideologies are real, what you stand for. we think life should be. And I don't think you should ever stop fighting for those. But having faith in these systems and believing that at least this side won't screw me over and this side's the right side and I'm on the right side of history, it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. Imagine you died and you went to heaven and you're like, but I was on the right side. And they're like, what? None of that shit mattered. You go, oh, you got to focus on what life is really about. The play is always going to go on. There's always going to be a villain. You have to balance your life between what you care about and what you don't care about, and also standing for something and falling for nothing. Like that's the balance. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You know, that's the old saying. But I don't know. This charade, I don't know what to believe. Like I said, that Charlie Kirk memorial didn't seem right in my head. All these theories coming out about the assassin didn't seem right. That autism conference seemed off, even though the evidence and the substance, the content of it might have been useful. I think we should look into things. I think people want to get to the bottom of it. I think people are mad and do wish to learn. I think that's the whole point of science, is to be inquisitive and to ask questions and to question everything and to look into things. I think the approach, the pageantry of it, to announce that at Charlie Kirk's memorial is odd. And how he did it was odd on purpose. Don't believe anything. That's all I could say. Don't believe anything. Keep an open mind. And if things seem weird to you, you're not alone. As always, this show is brought to you in part by Three Saints Barbershop, Jack's Pub and Eatery, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Also, Tusk Scranton and Bacardo Jewelers. I'll be back next week. As always, stay curious, my friends. Good night.